Hi everyone! When we create a grid visualization in MicroStrategy, we see that by default the rows that are repeated are merged into one. This makes our dossiers look better as they are not loaded with so much information. However, in some cases, users need to export these grids to Excel documents and need to include each of the rows that are repeated. This is a very common problem but very easy to fix. In this short video, I want to show you how to change the format of these visualizations so that they look better when exporting them to Excel. Let's start by making a duplicate of our grid, as this will allow us to compare the results at the end. We click on the three dots at the top right of our visualization and select Duplicate. We slide the copy to the bottom of our dossier to be able to see all the columns. Now, we open the Format panel and click on Layout. In the Row Header section, we are going to uncheck the box that says Merge Repetitive Cells. As you can see, now our grid has information in each of its rows. However, we still see some empty spaces in the third and fifth column names. This is because we are using multi-form attributes and MicroStrategy does not display the name of each attribute form. We have some options to fix this. For example, in the case of the quarter attribute, I am only interested in keeping the second attribute form. Therefore, I right-click on this attribute and select Display Attribute Forms. Now, I see that both forms attributes are selected. As I just want to keep the name, I am going to uncheck the attribute form Q and click OK. On the other hand, in the case of month, I am interested in keeping both attribute forms, but with their respective name in the two columns. For this, I right-click on month and select the Display Attribute Forms option again. Below the attribute forms, there is an option that says Display Attribute Forms Names. I click on the arrow and I find several options. In our case, the best option is automatic because we just want to add the name of the attribute form of the column that we are editing. I recommend you always to use automatic, although depending on the case, some of the other options might also be useful. Now we see that our two columns of the month have a name. However, this name is not the most appropriate because it is repeating the word month in both cases. If we just try to change the name on the column by right-clicking on it and selecting Rename, we will only be able to change the name of the attribute in general, and this is not solving our problem. Therefore, we must go directly to our dataset, click on the three dots and select Edit Dataset. Then we right-click on the month attribute and select Edit Multiform Attribute. Now, in the Display Form column, we are going to change the name of the attribute forms. The first one is simply going to be called ID, and the second one is going to be called Name. We click on Submit, and then we click on Update Dataset. I click Upload, select the source where the information in my table comes from, in this case, an Excel file on my desktop. Then I click Open and then Finish. Now we see that the name of our columns change and we do not see the word month repeated. One final step that I want to do before exporting my grid is to remove the title from the visualization. For this, I go to the Format panel, select the third option, Title and Container, and uncheck Title Bar. Now, our grid is ready to be exported to Excel. I go to the top right and click on the three dots. I select the Export option and click Excel. Then I choose the place where I want to export the file, in my case the desktop, and I write a name and click on Save. Now I go to the desktop of my computer to open the Excel file to check that everything is fine. As we can see, our table has information in each of its rows and columns. Therefore, we will not have any problem when analyzing this table, like if we want to put some filters on it. That's all for the video of today. Thanks for watching, do not hesitate to subscribe to the channel and see you soon.